Welcome to Thriving Moms of Autistics podcast, a free resource for moms raising young autistic children. I am your host, Dr. Christina Wilson. I created Thriving Moms of Autistics after years of experience working with families and having my own autistic child. I coach moms of young autistics one-on-one to tap into their strengths, create a supportive community, set firm boundaries, and raise their autistic child with confidence. Subscribe to the podcast and check out the earlier episodes so you don't miss a thing. Now, let's get to it. Hi there, it's Christina. I hope you are having a wonderful week, and we're going to do things a little differently this week. So we thought that we would just spend some really organic time together where I'm just going to be vulnerable and just share some things with you, because I think it's good for everyone to kind of get an idea of, yes, this person does understand, this person has a child on the spectrum and has experiences that are similar to me, right? It's really, really important. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to peel back some of the layers and I'm going to share some of that with you today. And we all remember what it was like when we had our child, right? It was one of the best days of my life. And my parents actually divorced whenever I was 4, which is unusual in the 70s. So, of course, I'm different from everyone just based on that. But actually, it was really different for people anyway. It was before we really knew the whole neurodivergence and all of those things. So my parents decided to get back together, get married again, and then they divorced again when I was 5. They tried, okay? You got to give them that. They tried. And so we actually moved from Florida up to a northern state, and everything was so different. So I had to really assimilate again into a different way of living. And so I had decided, growing up, I knew I was different. Like I said, it was just kind of different. And I see all the seasons as I was growing up, and I see that now and how that really has helped me develop into the person that I am today. So I had decided that I was not going to get married. I wanted to be a psychologist. I loved working with children and families and adults and just anybody and everybody. All of the populations that I worked with, I just loved them all. And I was married to my work for the longest time until the right person did come around, and I was willing to wait. So I got married at 40. So along the way, I had some medical issues, and the doctor said that I wouldn't have children. And I thought, for me, God's bigger than that. Maybe if another doctor says that, okay, that's something else. And so another doctor came along eventually and said, I don't see you having children. I don't think it's going to be possible. But then there was a third eventually in my 30s, and he said, I don't know why not. And I thought, okay, I'm going to look at the statistics here because I'm a data girl. And I thought, okay, 2 people have already told me this. Maybe I should just go ahead and, just live my life the way it was meant to live. And, still going to be a beautiful life. It's going to be okay. And I did grieve. And especially when a lot of people say, oh, it's such a shame, you should be a mom. It just wasn't something that I was going to have. So I had accepted it. And then I met my husband, and we knew right away, oh yeah, he was the one. And I told him, I said, you need to understand, because I don't know if you want children, but I'm not going to be able to have children. So So I know because he was actually older than me by a couple of years. So we're headed for retirement. We're thinking about retirement and planning. And so I'm sitting at my desk one day. I was still practicing at the time. And it was almost lunchtime. And I thought, oh man, he was so hungry. I've never been so hungry in my life. And I had been feeling kind of weird for a couple of days. Something was off. And so I'm just finishing up some paperwork, getting ready to go to lunch. And you know what? It just hit me like a ton of bricks, literally. And I know that whenever I get a nudge in my stomach, if for me, in my faith, I know that that comes from God for me, whatever your higher power is. But I know and I've learned that if I don't trust the nudge, and if I go my own way and try to say that's nothing, oh no, there's consequences. So I trust the nudge and I pay attention. Sounds like I knew I was pregnant. But yeah, I knew that was ridiculous. How could that be? And that didn't make any sense to me. And so I thought, well, it's almost lunch. I'll head to the Walgreens on the way and come back, take a test. And I did. And I go to my office and sure enough, this is pregnant. And I had to get one of the fancy ones. So it said 4 to 6 weeks. And I thought, of course, all I could think about is I'm going to tell my mom. And she had been gone for my parents, both had been gone for quite a long time. And I couldn't do that. But I was so happy in that moment. And actually it was almost like I couldn't believe that God had chose me for this child to have a baby, that he trusted me to do this. And I was gonna make this, I was gonna make it happen. It was gonna be awesome. I was gonna do everything I could. Just to my knees, thank you, God. Thank you. I will make sure that I raise him in such a way that he loves others and that he shines a light to others and helps them in their daily journey, their daily walk. So, I told my boss, I said, hey, I gotta take off for the afternoon. Go ahead and reschedule everyone. He panicked. That they're looking at me like, what is going on with you? I said, I just have to go to the doctor. And I ran across the street because my endocrinologist was over there. And sure enough, he said, you are pregnant. And he was like, how? This is so fake. He's like, okay, we got to, make sure you're off these meds. And I had some problems with my sugar and a history of things. So he helped me with that. And my husband and I were both in just a shock for a while. And so it was a really hard pregnancy. It wasn't easy. Um, it was a very long pregnancy. I did not do pregnancy well. I think it's like, what are you doing? I used to, I don't know. I used to always say my body will grow anything but a baby. So we always have a laugh over that. And so, it was nearing time and I had this dream team of doctors and they would not. I had a doctor many years whenever I was very young. I was 15. I had a cyst on my ovaries the size of a grapefruit. And she said, I don't think you're ever going to have a vaginal birth because you're built, even just a small person, like small bone and, very narrow. And she said, that's just not going to happen. So just keep that in mind. But they were really wanting me to have this baby naturally. It's like, I don't think so. And I had been in and out of the hospital. I had preeclampsia. It was just really difficult. And we didn't know anybody in the area because, I worked all the time in hadn't been there that long. Um, and my husband always just worked. So we didn't have like a lot of friends around us, and our family lived in other places. And like I said, my parents were gone and I was an only child. So, um, finally it was about time for him to come. They had brought me in. They, decided, to go ahead and get started. And I was in hard labor for like a week. And it was crazy because my body, even though I was in hard labor, wasn't doing the other stuff that it needed to do. And I'm like, oh, no, you will be okay. Um, and I had always told them with all the medical issues going on, I said, look, I'm supposed to have this baby. I'm going to have this baby. And if something were to happen, because obviously I would always think back, what if my body feels me? It wouldn't be the first time. There's a reason why they didn't think I'd have a baby. You save him first. I've lived my life. He's meant to be here. You save him first. And, they just kind of smile, how they do. Um, and that night his heart rate dropped and I said, you need to get him out now. And they were not listening to me. And I want you to know this because, remember that gut, that nudge? You have that. I know you do. And I know you've thought about 10 different times probably where you had that same experience. And I want you to always trust it. Always. You are the mother. You know what is right for your child. And, so often we deal with people that don't get autism, for example. IEP meetings are a nightmare. All of the things. And just remember that trust. Trust it. And they still weren't listening. It wasn't until 11 o'clock the next day. And it wasn't because I didn't try. I tried and I tried and I wouldn't let it go. And I kept telling them, get him out. I mean, you couldn't just perform a C-section on myself. So, and if I could, I would have. And pretty tenacious. And that's something I think that you probably understand quite well. So the next morning at 11, they took him and the cord was wrapped around his neck 3 times. He didn't cry. Um, so I was just so thankful that he was there. And all the things that we think about, remember back when, and there's a poem too, about taking a trip to Italy and how you can't wait. I can't remember what it is. It's anonymous. But I bet probably most of you, a trip to Holland or something like that. You're going to Italy, but then you get rerouted and you go to Holland and you're like, wait a minute, what's going on? We all know that experience very well, don't we? Because we wonder, what are they gonna have my personality? Are they gonna look like my husband? Are they gonna, be a chatterbox like me? What's their personality going to be like? So many things. And I didn't get off in Italy, you know, but like they say in the poem, you know, there are many beautiful things that you would never experience in Italy like you can in Holland. And, you know, keep that in mind too as you go on and through your journey. Um, I was trained 30 years ago, so we didn't know as much about autism. We thought you didn't even look at it till the age of 3. So like I said, I'm peeling back the layers and I'm being very vulnerable with you today. And I did miss it at first. There was something that made me think, wait a minute. And it was something very small. Is he autistic? And I thought, you can't just go by. It was something sensory driven. He was little. He was a baby. So, and I thought, well, okay, let's just give it time and figure it out. And then I think some of the doctors, since he wasn't talking, he didn't talk until he was 5. And I remember thinking, can't wait till he talks because I'm a talker and I want to talk to this child and have conversations with him and teach him things. Uh, I remember thinking, because I thought he was just going to always be nonverbal, and thinking, wait a minute, I like to talk, right? That I don't understand. And I thought, okay, stop that. You're getting into that hole into that stinking thinking. You know what? If he never talks again, it's okay. Remember, this child's purpose. There's something to be learned and to experience, and I'm going to do all of it. And I'm going to dive right in. So, you know, e- every week I talk about something a little different, but I stay on the course of mindset, getting stuck in your thoughts, um, finding a group of people to be that's supportive and understand autism, using your strengths to overcome those many challenges that we do. Everybody has them. Our journey's a bit different, right? And so I've decided I love doing this podcast for you all and sharing, because together we're better. And I just feel like if you need to know that someone else gets it too, I am developing a course right now and I'm moving through it pretty good. So I'm not sure exactly when it's going to be completed, but I'm getting through it. And I am so excited because this course is going to help you in all of those areas. It's going to meet you right where you're at. And it's going to be on demand. So how about that? On your time, because it's hard for us to get time, right? We have a lot going on and people don't get it always, but we do. We have a lot. So I'm also writing a book because I wanted to help them understand the why behind Thriving Moms of Autistics, where it originated, and to kind of share my story a lot more in depth. So, that will be in the book. This is just a teeny bit. So you'll have to get the book and check it out. But it also looks at each area that I focus on a little bit more deeply in preparation for the course too. So I have some of that coming up. Tell for you, are you are my reason, because I get it. I get it. And if there's something that I could do to help others, even just reach one person, I want to do it. It's really important to me. And I'm really glad that we found each other. So I look forward to our time next week.
Thanks for listening to Thriving Moms of Autistics podcast. Be sure to leave a review and tell other moms of autistics about the podcast. Let's support each other. Find the full transcript for this episode at thrivingmomsofautistics.com. And be assured, you are not alone in your journey.